One thing I really want to talk to you about and kind of focus and haul in and circle the wagons around.
Okay.
Is Jonathan India and what his role is going to be this year. Looking at it, I think that the Reds signaled with I was wrong with the Jammer Candelario signing, saying that was a full indication that they were trading Jonathan India. I was wrong. I'll admit that I was wrong.
You better.
I'm a man. I'm a man.
I'm never wrong on this. This guy over here, on the other hand,
he makes some mistakes. It was more telling that when they signed Jammer Candelario, that they weren't going to trade Jonathan India, but instead they were going to non-tender Nick Senzel, which they did. Again, Shohei Ohtani and Nick Senzel are making the same amount of money this year. I want you to let that settle in for a minute.
Yeah, nothing crooked about that.
Nothing at all. Nothing wrong. Totally all by the books. But that I think that Jonathan India is going to be your Chris Taylor / Nick Senzel for this squad.
It's either that or he goes to a different team under his own accord because, I mean, he's already invested, into an outfield glove and a first baseman's glove? Yeah. Whereas previously, he's like, no, I'm going to be a middle infield dude. But now he realizes, hey, what's best for the team is for me to figure out positions where I can play when some dudes need a rest because he's going to be a liability, at second base when we have Matt McClain and all these other great, hands to work with. So
yeah, I mean, defensively, one of the worst second basemen in the game. But on top of that, it's you need to learn to play first. You already played third. You came up playing third, now second. You played second to a pretty high level. And now you need to learn left and right field because first base is log jammed. Second base is log jammed. Third base is log jammed. He can't play shortstop. So it's then let's look in the outfield. And you go left field, Spencer Steer, then right behind him. That is where you put Jonathan India. Center field is a little tricky though. That's where I'm trying to figure out where we have any depth because that's where Friel is. And then who else? Stuart Fairchild?
I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully we can shore up maybe another bat, somebody for the outfield. But, I mean, that's going to be a position that we'll probably see Jonathan India play out there. If we have a matchup that we think works best for him to be in the lineup or somebody does need a rest or, there's an injury. We saw plenty of that last season. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the best way for him to make an impact on the team this upcoming season is to be a utility player.
Sure. I agree with you. And right field, Will Benson, Jake Fraley, and then you can throw Indy in there. So there's an opportunity for him to see and get a ton of ABs, but it's you'd rather play your guys that are going to be here for a while. You'd rather play your McClains at second. You'd rather play Novi Marte or Jammer Candelario at third. Instead of being I kind of know what I have with India. And at this point, in the past couple years of this track record, you can almost bank on him missing a good chunk of the season.
Yeah, so him playing an everyday player you can't really bank on. And I do think he could potentially be a good high leverage situation. He could be a great bat off the bench. He can be a dude that he seems to thrive on those big moments. So I can see him succeeding well if the Reds keep him throughout, the year and see if they just have him come off the bench.
Yeah, and also it can increase his trade value over the season. It's man, if he plays, the deadline this year, I think they said it's set for July 31st. So if he's playing well and he's playing, all over the infield and some of the outfield, and he's played in 64, 65 games up until that point, you feel comfortable being hey, man, you get this guy for a couple more years, couple more seasons under ARB, and then go, do whatever you please. But, this is quite possibly the worst time to trade him, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the only spot that I can see really working out for him.
Yeah, I don't think the Reds are going to try to play him just to beef up his trade potential because you just have, a really strong group of infielders that would just be taking a position away from one of them. So, yeah, he's going to have to be a utility player if he wants to see any playing time in the field. And up until, the All-Star game trade deadline, we're not going to see a move made.
And what's also interesting, like we haven't talked about this. We didn't talk about it last week, and I forgot to bring it up. Novi Marte shut down for the rest of winter ball in Dominican. He messed up his hamstring.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Do we know the extent of that? Was a messy. I know it's a hamstring situation because those are always hey, it's going to take weeks.
Yeah. We don't know much, but they say he's going to be ready for spring training. Again, you can say he's going to be ready, but will he actually be 100%? We don't know. So there's another thing where it's okay, that's where you need India to be all right, well, you're sliding in over here until he's 100%. Or if he's still recovering and it's you can send him down to AAA.
Yeah, you're not going to want to rush a guy back from a hamstring injury. That's something where you're going to need to rest it every once in a while. So another option for India to get some playing time.
Yeah, 100%. And what has he done? He went out with that plantar fasciitis last year. And then year before that was hamstring. Then got drilled at the Field of Dreams game in his calf and then almost exploded.
That was a very weird situation.
Yeah, they had to air care him out.
Yeah. God. Field of Dreams, baby! Lost my calf.
Well, I'm feeling these dreams and they hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Ow!
No, that's the morphine we have you on, Mr. India.
Oh, the corn's talking. So it's yeah, man, you can't just bank on him. So it's well, there you go. Here's how this is going to work.
Seriously. And again, the injuries we saw last year coming into play for not just the Reds, but a lot of other teams. Yeah. So depth, not just with pitching, batting and fielding.
Batting, fielding, all the stuff.
Uh-huh.
This is how we talk about the Reds in January.
Don't forget to pack extra balls. When you first get out, you don't want to be all the way down in Florida and realize you only got 12.
Yeah, and make sure to bring icy hot. It's just nice to have it.
Yeah, you're going to need it. It kind of smells nice, too.
Yeah, it tastes good, too.
Yeah.
Does it taste good?
Mm-mm.